Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars, welcome to another classic film review, and today's classic film review is for the year 2000 film Space Cowboys, another Clint Eastwood film. I'm sorry, I like Clint Eastwood, what can I say? This was directed by Clint Eastwood and obviously stars Clint Eastwood as well as Tommy Lee Jones, Donald Sutherland, James Garner, James Cromwell and William Devane. Now, this is a film that focuses on Clint Eastwood, who the film starts off in the late 50s. Clint Eastwood and his team, consisting of Tommy Lee Jones, Donald Sutherland, and James Garner, are like crack test pilots, and they are well on track to be the first Americans in space. However, they mess it up because they keep destroying the test planes, etc. So James Cromwell, who is their senior officer, decides to do them over and basically sack them from the project, and they've put a monkey in space instead, which obviously annoys Clint Eastwood and the rest of them to no end. Jump forward many years, and at NASA, which is where James Cromwell now works, there is a Russian satellite that is orbiting the Earth that is basically going to crash land, and the Russians don't want it to. However, nobody knows how to repair it from the ground, so they have to go to Clint Eastwood, Frank Corvin, who designed the guidance system on this satellite, and he decides he's going to blackmail NASA. So he basically says, well, I can fix it for you, but you're going to have to send me and my old team up into space to fix it for you, and that's the only way he will do it. So they have no choice really. So Clint, Tommy Lee Jones, Donald Sutherland, James Garner all have to train alongside NASA astronauts to be able to go into space to repair this satellite. That's the basic premise of the film here for Space Cowboys. What's my thoughts on Space Cowboys? Well, I think this is a lovely film. Is it right up there with the all-time classics of Clint Eastwood? No, I don't think so. I think there are flaws in this film, but who doesn't want to see a film with Clint Eastwood, Tommy Lee Jones, Donald Sutherland and James Garner starring? I mean, it's a no-brainer. All these fantastic classic actors in a film together, as well as James Cromwell as others. It's a film you want to watch, and it's a really fun film with great chemistry between these leads. There was talk, my understanding is from researching, that Sean Connery and Jack Nicholson were initially interested in playing the roles of Donald Sutherland and James Garner, but obviously that didn't work out. That certainly would have been interesting to have those two on board as well. But what we get here are four veteran actors absolutely loving, I think, being on screen together in this film, and it really works. Now, initially Clint Eastwood didn't want to direct this film, apparently. He just wanted to star in it and produce it. But they couldn't get a director on board who was comfortable with the special effects and things like that. And even though Clint Eastwood has been quoted as saying that he didn't particularly enjoy directing this film because of the special effects side of it, he decided to take over and direct the film himself. Which was a good choice, as it's a nicely directed film. So it's a really nicely paced film as well. This it's really quite good, certainly at the beginning of the film, explaining itself, and the sequence at the beginning in the 50s is brilliantly done, because certainly the actors they get to play Clint and Tommy Lee Jones as youngsters, they do a really good job, and they use Tommy Lee Jones and will use all the actors' voices to dub over these young actors at the beginning of the film, and it's really uncanny how much they look like the counterparts. Certainly Tommy Lee Jones and Clint Eastwood's in the 50s, and James Cromwell's character. So the way they set it up then and then move to the present day, you know the situation, and they do a good job of explaining this issue in space. And then it's a fun concept, the fact that they've got to send these four old guys into space. And I remember at the time as well, Clint Eastwood he thought this could really work, because just recently they sent John Glenn back into space, who was in his 70s I believe at the time. So he felt as though it added credence to this film, the fact that, well, if John Glenn can go into space, we can go into space. And he actually says it in the film. He says, you sent Glenn up, didn't you? So I think it really helped the film as well. There's a couple of fun moments when they're prepping, doing the training and things like that, when they're doing the eye tests, and all that kind of stuff, and the quirks they give the characters. Donald Sutherland can't see, he needs really strong glasses and things like that. But I think probably the best character in this film is Tommy Lee Jones, Hawk, who's this real rebel. He's a adrenaline junkie sort of thing, and it's never left him. And I really liked his character in this film, and the storyline that they give him, his arc in his film, I think is the best of everybody's. And he's Tommy Lee Jones, I think, knocks it out of the park. They all do, but I think in particular I really like Tommy Lee Jones' performance here. And it's a nicely constructed film. It's a fun film. I think where this film, for many, and certainly for me after rewatching it, I struggled with a little bit, is when they actually go to space, because they have to give them a drama when they get into space, and that's fair enough, that bit all makes sense. But when they start saying what they're going to do, and they start fiddling with buttons and say, well, if you do this, this will happen, I'm like, you kind of get lost a little bit. It's a bit like, okay, well, and then they just do it, and you think, well, just do it, don't try to explain it, because it didn't make a lot of sense. So when they actually get up into space and they start doing the mission and all the dramas start happening, it starts getting a little bit muddled and confused, I suppose is the best way I can put it. But I'm nitpicking there. I think this film does deserve an 8 out of 10. It is a really fun Clint Eastwood film, one in his back catalogue that you should certainly check out if you haven't already seen. So that is my classic film review for Space Cowboys. I hope you liked it, I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, I will be back with more reviews and content on Screen Stars very soon.